Ben Sulayem has recently hit back at critics towards him and the governing body, as he feels like he does a good enough of a job but doesn't get nearly enough credit for it. The FIA has caused a lot of backlash in the past couple of weeks. It all started with how the FIA has launched an investigation towards Susie Wolff for an alleged conflict of interest with her husband, Toto Wolff, without having any evidence. And the fact that the investigation was dropped as fast as it was launched has made Ben Sulayem look quite an unserious figure in the sport. Lewis Hamilton has stated that Ben Sulayem never had his trust as a president of the governing body, and obviously that's something that leaves quite a negative mark on him as a leader of such a great and responsible institution. But according to Ben, this is something that's been narrated by the British media, and when talking about it, he's had a lot to say regarding how this has affected not just the FIA, but also drivers like Max Verstappen. Elaborating to a greater extent, Ben Sulayem said, "I respect Verstappen because I'm a driver. I was a champion and I respect winners and champions. I see he had his share of mistreatment, but let's talk about me. If you look at the British media and what they did to me, for God's sake, they convicted me. They didn't accuse me of anything, but they keep going on. And do I care? No. Why? Because what are they after? They're after selling and getting more coverage for themselves, but they have no power over me and over the FIA. Now, in the past couple of weeks, the situation has only turned out to be worse because there's been a warning from Ben Sulayem that the drivers shouldn't use the F word as much due to the fact that they're not rappers, something in which Lewis Hamilton found a racial element because the majority of the rappers are black. Obviously, this gives the British media even more fuel to talk against, but the president of the FIA could care less, as he wants to assure everyone that the FIA is here to do business and to expand the sport, and not to deal with these nonsense comments. Furthermore, Ben Sulayem stated that the most important thing for him is that any of the media has no vote in who gets to be the president of the FIA, let alone the British biased one. Because we're talking about an independent and democratic federation that elects the president from the world of membership, with the power being solely in the people that are responsible for making the world of motorsport a better place. Sulayem hasn't held back at critics towards the British media, saying that comments from their type have only made him stronger, as he continued, "And you know what? Can we just stop this nonsense and go back to business and do what's better for the sport? If you can, I'm asking. If the media don't want to do that, it's up to them. But life goes on. You know what they did to me. They made me stronger. I'm more careful and wiser, and I have the support of the member clubs. And if and when the members decide that it's time to change me as president, it's their call. At the end of the day, who put me there? It's the General Assembly. It's the members. I'm very, very clear with this. And if the media doesn't like it, it's up to them." Now, generally speaking, Sulayem is speaking facts, whether we like it or not, with the difference being that he's spoken for matters that are out of his jurisdiction. For example, when Formula One has received quite a hefty offer to be sold to a Saudi Arabian fund and the proposal from Liberty Media was denied, Sulayem has taken the liberty to comment on this situation and stated that the sport shouldn't hyperinflate its value. This has affected the president of F1, Stefano Domenicali, in a very negative manner, because he feels like the sponsors who are here to invest in a long-term fashion would find comments like this quite negative, as they won't feel appreciated from the sport's high-value members, which is the last thing that Formula One wants and needs right now in these moments of expansion. But on the other hand, even though the FIA is a non-profit organisation, the president Ben Sulayem feels like there should be more credit given to them for all the latest positive news that happened to the sport, involving the expansion of the calendar and the addition of Audi as a new team on the grid. Even though Audi is entering the sport through buyout process of Sauber, it was done because the FIA introduced new regulations from 2026 onwards which have more electrification and less pollution for the planet Earth, which was the primary reason why the Volkswagen Group has allowed two of its most formidable branches, Audi and Porsche, to negotiate entrance in the sport. Still, Ben Sulayem feels like no one pays attention to this and that the governing body won't receive any credit, as he went on to say, "We will never get the credit for the good of the sport. It's impossible. We'll only get the rubbish. That I know. When you look at it, everybody made money out of the FIA. Everyone except the FIA. Everyone gets the credit except the FIA. It's true. When I took over, we had a running operating cost of minus 20 million. Why? Because we have our income as everybody. But look at the promoters, and good on them. I congratulate them. They're smart enough to do that. Liberty Media are a good promoter. I don't see anyone doing a better job than them right now. But the FIA works with them in the best possible way. The regulation and the governance is our job. And then let everyone make money. Let the drivers have fun, race in a safe way and make money. And let the team principals make more money. But the FIA will never get the credit. It's impossible. Now, all of this is putting more pressure on Ben Sulayem to make things work within the inner circles of the FIA, but while it's safe to assume that this won't happen anytime near soon, it's also worth adding that the governing body has really done a lot of changes that made a great impact on other teams joining the grid. If we are to think about it thoroughly, the FIA is the one that gave Andretti a green light to join the grid as an 11th team because of all the investments the American company has done. But this is not enough for the FOM and F1 in general, as they do not believe that Andretti has what it takes to bring value to the sport. Right now, Ben Sulayem hopes that next year, when there will be a presidential race in which he's convinced that there won't be another winner because of what he's done for the sport, would shut down the media's negative narrative towards him, as he went on to elaborate, "Honestly, I believe 100% that I will be re-elected next year. And there are so many parts to that. And we went back to our mission, which is to listen to the members. If you remove the members, there is no FIA. Very simple. The FIA is in a better shape. It's healthier. And the F1 teams also need a strong and healthy FIA because nobody wants to spend money in a championship that's not governed. We brought the FIA back in the plus. And that's not by redundancy and removing people, but generating more income and others being fair with us, and by repositioning and reforming the FIA and going back to our mission. And one other thing, if there's anyone who wants to have a presidential race with me, I would be more than happy. We talked about democracy. It's democracy all the time, not part of the time. So I'm more than happy to take it up against somebody else. With all this in mind, it would be interesting to see how Ben Sulayem will handle all of the pressure that come towards him, especially with the swearing situation, as prominent drivers like Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc have joined the critics towards Ben Sulayem. The Monegasque driver from Ferrari believes there should be other priorities from the FIA to focus on, because when you're driving a car with a speed of 300 km/h between walls, it's easy to lose your cool and to use language that's not really suited for children or young viewers. Nevertheless, the proposal was universal. Just blur out these words or don't broadcast anything that involves foul language, and the problem will be solved. Something that the hardcore fans will find it extremely out of taste because it gives them a proper knowledge as to how the drivers feel the car or the certain setup the team has chosen. So, do you think that Ben Sulayem is a proper president of the FIA and is doing a good job? Or do you think he should be replaced amid all of the controversies that have surrounded the governing body in the past couple of months? Let us know in the comments down below.